Hi everybody, welcome back or welcome to. My name is Michelle and I'm going to do a different type of video today. If you know or follow my channel, you know that a few months ago I did a video on the Kneady Homesteader. They were in an accident and her husband, Matt, he was killed by a drunk driver. Well, that video has a lot of views on it and a lot of comments. If you go read the comments, some of them are just heartbreaking because people just lay their heart out in the comments. They talked about their husband, their wife, their family member, their child, or a friend getting killed by a drunk driver. This is just kind of inspired by the Kneady Homestead, I guess you could say. I would like to read some of these comments to you because some of them are just heart-wrenching. I can't imagine having to live through what you have lived through if you're watching this and you've lost somebody from a drunk driver. I am really sorry. I'm sorry. My heart, when I read these comments, my heart just breaks. It just literally breaks for you guys because I can't imagine. I have children of my own and I can't imagine having a phone call that my child was killed by a drunk driver. So keep watching, just keep watching, and just keep watching. This comment is from Betty Horn. 30 years ago, my son was killed by a drunk driver. 4 years later, almost to the day, his brother and my only surviving child was killed by a drunk driver. So I want to correct you on one statement. It wasn't an accident. Accidents just happen. This man made a choice. There's a difference between accidents and crashes. This comment is from Brita McCart-Corden. In 1974, our brother was killed by a drunk driver in Oregon. Our brother left a wife and 6 children. We feel this family's pain. Our heart goes out to them. We know she was severely injured, as were 2 of her children. We wish them peace and healing. God bless. This comment is from Sherry Ludwig. We just had someone last week here in Texas who was going over 100 miles an hour and was intoxicated. He slammed into a car, stopped at a red light, killing a 28-year-old mother and their 3 kids. This comment is from Calissa, obviously cannot decide reptiles. My 10-year-old daughter was killed by a man with no license. His license was suspended and had been for 2 years on a DWI charge. He was driving a company vehicle the day he killed her because he flat ran a red light at 60 miles an hour, T-boned her side of the car. In Texas, they were going to issue him a $130 fine, really, for driving without a license, and let him go. It didn't work out that way, thank goodness, but I had to fight to get him more than the fine. Just saying, our system sucks. This comment is from Cindy S. A couple here were traveling back from the beach with their little toddler, almost home when a drunk driver hit them head on. The father also was killed instantly. His wife and baby were injured, are now physically okay. This was the man's 3rd DUI. This comment is from Kayla SL. My husband was in a car accident a few years ago. He was hit by a person that was driving with a suspended license. The guy had no car insurance and the car wasn't even his. The guy was never arrested and never got in trouble. This also wasn't his first offense. Justice needs to start being served against people who break the law drinking and driving. This comment is from Raymond Shepard. In 1995, there was a head-on collision where my brother was killed instantly by a drunk driver. This was his first offense, and all he got was 18 months. There is no strong enough penalty for anybody who gets behind the wheel intoxicated and kills somebody. To me, When you do something like that, you're driving a loaded weapon. So therefore, my brother wasn't just killed by a drunk driver, he was murdered. 25 years later, and I miss my brother now more than anything. My brother was fairly well known, and at his funeral, we didn't really know how well he was known until about 1,000 people showed up at his funeral. I understand what this family is going through because I've been through it myself, as well as my mom and dad. Although mom and dad are not with us anymore, they're renewed with my brother in heaven. I will keep this family in my prayers. Love always, Raymond. This comment is from TX Crafter Forever. I had a brother killed by a drunk driver back in '88. My brother was 19. The lady that killed him only got 5 years probation, which ended the 1-year graduate high school in 1995. We need stiffer penalties for drunk drivers. I have been advocating for this. This one is from Kat Brinson. I have been married to 2 alcoholics. When you try to appeal to their conscience, you are wrestling and wasting your breath. Sadly, addicts don't think of anyone else but themselves. My first husband was fired for being drunk on his job. He was a medic and drove the ambulance. I don't drink myself, and I have zero tolerance for drinking after living through that. Addicts are selfish and irresponsible, as evidenced by the person driving without insurance or license. If an addict acts sorry, they are just sorry that they were caught. My heart just breaks for this poor family. This comment is from Kayla SL. My husband was in a car accident a few years ago. He was hit by a person that was driving with a suspended license. The guy had no car insurance, and the car wasn't even his. The guy was never arrested and never got in trouble. This also wasn't his first offense. This comment is from Walking Horse Jones. My husband was hit by a drunk driver in 1978. Lost his right leg at the age of 28. Fast forward 43 years. He's riddled with severe arthritis. His ankle is so far gone he can hardly walk now. The boy was 17 years old. His family made him join the military, never got the jail time. I feel so bad for this family. This comment is from Anne Marie Hesterly. I am a probation officer. I was hit by a drunk driver in 1998. I still have issues with pain daily. I see people that continue to drive long after their license were taken. If you have no valid license, you can't get insurance. As long as they are drinking, stuck in their addiction, they are not thinking about any consequences. This comment is from Frank Puzzleman. In 1990, in a whole drunk, his third drunk driver charge, no insurance, no license, rear-ended me. I was stopped to make a left turn for a traffic to clear. The drunk hit me going 50 miles an hour. It ruined my entire life. This comment is from Kim Price. My best friend lost her 20-year-old daughter to a drunk driver. He hit and ran, leaving her to die alone. He wasn't found until the next morning, and a blood alcohol level was not done. He couldn't be charged with his second DUI. He did 11 months in jail. I have no faith in our justice system. This comment is from Lynn Ennis. I too was in a head-on crash with a drunk driver with 6 previous DUIs. In fact, he had only been out of jail, released early for 2 weeks from the last charge. He had no license, no insurance, and not even driving his own car. He finally went to jail for 48 months, and I am crippled for life. It crushed both of my legs, and the seatbelt sliced my abdomen open, and I had to have 3 units of blood to replace what I lost. This comment is from Margaret Tant. Another to add. My mother battled cancer twice and won. She couldn't win against an old drunk at 11 in the morning. This comment is from Lori Sharp, and it's about the Kneady Homesteader. The man that killed Matt didn't have a license because he has obviously had multiple DUIs. This says he habitually drives drunk, and he is so selfish that he doesn't care. He has finally killed someone, and if he could, he would undoubtedly continue to break the law. He has driven drunk without a license, with a loaded gun, without insurance, and it says that he doesn't care. He knows that it's illegal, and he still did it. He deserves to be charged with murder because he chose to drive drunk repeatedly. There is no excuse for this decision. This comment's from Pamela Lane. My sister-in-law and her friend both killed by drunk driver. Driver had apparatus on a car that she needed to blow into before driving because she had 3 previous arrests for DUI. A friend that hadn't been drinking did the test for her. She killed 2 people that evening head-on in a crash. 7 years in jail. There has got to be a better way to deal with alcoholism. This comment is from Holly Clan. My mother almost died too. One of her broken legs was crushed to bits and put together with rods and plates. Both her arms broken. Her children had broken arms. One was a compound fracture. It was horrible. If the guy had no license at 42, that means he had already lost it prior to a DUI activity. This comment is from Margot Brown. I lost my daughter to a young kid driving so fast he flipped her over his truck and she flew into a ravine. I miss my daughter every day. Kid got off because my daughter had no right to walk the beam or the berm of the road to get home. This comment is from the Happy Planning Mom. My sister had been hit by a drunk driver. She was walking to her school bus. The guy hit her so hard that the impact threw her 30 feet. I found out that afternoon walking to my room in a group home I was in. They wouldn't let me see her or anything. I didn't find out until much later that she was fine and recovering at her foster home. The pain was unlike anything that I ever experienced, to the point where I shut down completely, which is why they told me she was doing fine and recovering. As far as I know, the guy was never caught. This comment is from Melissa Miller. My father was hit by a man leaving a methadone clinic. He fell asleep and hit my father, running his leg over. The sad part was he had no license or insurance. My father's lawyer said that he could fight it, but it's useless because the guy that hit him had no money. My father wouldn't get a cent, and my father would end up paying for the hospital bills and lawyers' costs out of his own pocket. The boy got a slap on the wrist. We need tougher DUI charges. You can take a person's license away all day, every day. That won't stop them from getting in a car and doing it again. They should throw them in jail and then throw away the key. This comment is from Debbie Johnson. My family was destroyed by a drunk driver. He killed my only sister, who was barely 16 years old, and the best friend who was in the car with him. Nothing happened to the drunk, physically or legally. He didn't even lose his license. Like my mom said, killing someone in a car is the last form of legal murder. It destroyed my family, and he went on and had a life. This comment is from Kathy Groves. Our nephew was killed by a drunk driver. Yes, a waste of a perfect life. Lost too many people. Prayers to all. This comment is from L. Bow. I've been reading all the comments, and I am struck to the core by the number of lives and families destroyed by the selfish actions of these useless, drunken imbeciles who choose to drink and drive. It's a wonder more people don't take justice into their own hands for their loved ones when the courts are so lenient on these criminals. God bless Heather, her children, and all the families so tragically affected. This is just a little handful of the comments that are on this video and another video that I made on them. If you want to go read more of them, they are truly, truly heartbreaking. I'll leave a link in my pinned first comment, so if you're interested in reading more, you can do that. Thank you for watching today. I hope that maybe something you heard helped you or just inspired you. Don't drink and drive. Don't drink and drive. You've heard all of the hurt. You've heard all of the hurt that people have gone through. So don't do that. Don't do that to yourself. Don't do that to a family member. Don't do that to, just don't do it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.